Welcome to Season 3 of the M-W Tactical Podcast. Sit back and enjoy the conversations of the mad scientist, Coach B, and myself as we discuss the sport of shooting, goals, training, and everyday life. You are listening to the M-W Tactical Podcast. All right, good people, we're back at it again, and I want to thank everyone for listening to the M-W Tactical Podcast. For everybody who sent a note, an email, and or a text last week that was talking about the show, we really do appreciate it, and we do thank everyone for listening. This week's show is sponsored by Blazon Apparel. Blazon Apparel is the official shirt makers for the 2021 South Carolina Sectional that is taking place 30 April through 2 May in Belton, South Carolina. Right now, you have a couple weeks. Registration is still open. And like I've always said, I am tired of the mad scientist trying to tackle me. He doesn't try to trip me, legitly. He looks at it as the gridiron, meaning a football field. I can't juke and dodge like I used to because the mad scientist is trying to hurt me. And we got matches coming up. So I need y'all help. Sign up for the match. Come out there, take a picture next to the gun butter banner, and we'll make it happen. All right.
But I'll stand in front of the ER when we get our picture.
There you go. That's how we'll do it. All right. Also, a reminder, we got a couple GoFundMe campaigns taking place, and we are making a professional movie. So please head over to GoFundMe.com/we are making a professional movie and donate what you can. And you're going to see the crew, everybody who we associate with within the shooting community, making it happen and day-to-day life, piecing it together so you can see the behind-the-scenes footage of what we have to do to get ready to move forward. The other GoFundMe campaign is free firearms training for those who are new to firearms or who do not have the ability to seek out a reputable trainer. So we're going to pitch in and help out a nationwide push. So we already had a few people donate to this campaign, and we really do appreciate those who contributed thus far. For those who already contributed, you will be getting your shout out on Instagram here in the next upcoming weeks. So once again, please head on over to GoFundMe.com/free firearms training and GoFundMe.com/we are making a professional movie. Now, it is that time to bring in the lady of M-W Tactical. As I keep telling everybody, this lady is mean. She tries to push me down the stairs. She closes the car door on my leg. She tried to step on my foot on my bad toe. And to make it even worse, I asked for a glass of water. She tried to give me a glass of Clorox. What is she really trying to say? Most importantly, what is she trying to do? So without further ado, I want to bring in Coach B. What's up, B? How's it going for you?
Hi, Michael. Hi, Dave.
Yeah, it's a wonder that I'm still here.
She's trying to keep you on your toes. That's what she's doing.
That's what we calling this now?
That's it. That's all it is.
Oh, my goodness.
Since you retired from the military, you got to have somebody pushing you.
Yeah, I guess that's one way to look at it. But hey, I don't know what to say about that one. So how has your work week been there? Or how has your week been there, Coach B?
My week's been good. I made a couple cakes, cupcakes for Easter. I make a lemon pound cake that if I come to a family function without the pound cake, I'm not allowed in the house.
Oh, you're asked to leave.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, I can honestly say that she made this cake one year, and she asked me if I wanted one. I swear I ate that whole big cake in about 2 days. No lie. And it was so good, man. I was just like, yo, man, you got to do this again. So she had hit me up the next time. I was like, "You want me to make a cake?" I was like, "No, no, you can't do that. I'm trying to work out. I'm trying to lose the weight." You know, you're trying to work the opposite effect on it. You know, but yeah, those cakes be slamming though. I can't even front on that one. That cake is slamming though.
Right.
You know, but
like a good lemon pound cake.
oh man, the last time I was trying to be what you call it, where like you're not trying to be too over possessive or greedy on the cake. But we went to that family function and I couldn't resist. I was like, yeah, let me go get another piece of cake. So I ended up getting like 4 pieces, but I tried to spread it out over like hour time frame. I couldn't resist it, man. But like I said, it's really good. Really good. What else is going on with you? What else you got going on?
Nothing, just studying. That's pretty much it.
No, okay. I got you on that one. So once again, thank you for doing what you're doing as far as the podcast. And we're gonna try to do the camera here shortly. I don't know if she's gonna vote. I need everybody to register on the vote. We're gonna put a vote up on Facebook. Tell Coach B to get on the camera, yes or no. We're gonna see how that goes. And if you get majority of the yeses, would you come on the camera?
Yeah, probably so.
Uh-oh, you heard it. So we're gonna do this vote, we're gonna do this poll and see what happens like that.
You're much better to look at than either of us. So.
Yeah, I would say that too. I would definitely agree with that. Now, we got another guest for the M-W Tactical Podcast. This little one is also named the Little Assistant. Now, she does give me a hard time, but then she makes it up with the kisses on the melon. So without further ado, bringing in the little assistant herself, Emma. What's going on, Emma? Good. How has your day been? Awesome. Yeah. So we had a pretty interesting day today, didn't we? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we picked you up from Georgia. Mm-hmm. We stopped in Atlanta to see my buddy Kevin, Katie of NLC Firearms Training. And we had breakfast, and you ate a pretty good breakfast.
It was actually brunch.
Okay, well, we'll call it brunch. You know, so
which is my favorite.
Yeah, so it was pretty good though, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, considering the fact you kept asking, when is it coming? When is it coming? But you said you wasn't hungry, so I take it you really was hungry then. That's what it was?
Maybe.
Oh, okay. Well,
was it waffles? Did you get waffles?
No, I got eggs and bacon.
Yeah.
Bacon? What?
Yeah, eggs and bacon.
Eggs and bacon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
With lemonade. I was like, ooh, look at this right here. But she tore it up. Yeah.
That does make an awesome day.
Yeah. So it was pretty interesting. So we hung out there in Atlanta for maybe about an hour and a half, 2 hours, just talking to my buddy Kevin. And then got back in the vehicle and came on back to Columbia, South Carolina. Yeah, so it was pretty fun though, wasn't it? Considering you went to sleep twice on me. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I am glad you are here so the listening people can hear the little assistant herself. All right. So now moving forward, bringing in the one, the only, my buddy, the one who actually keeps the guns in operation. This guy turns the wrenches, flips the screwdrivers. I think he did something on a bus on the side of the interstate one time, but I don't know, man. But these stories keep coming in, so I'm trying to figure it out myself. They also said he cooks, he cleans, he also vacuums. I don't even vacuum anymore. Well,
wish I didn't.
Yeah, but I know for a fact he also does fence repairs. He also does car repairs, and then most importantly, he gets his cardio in by chasing the family pet. So bringing in my buddy, the co-hostess with the mostest, my man, the mad scientist, Dave. What's going on, Dave?
No more cardio chasing the dog around because I fortified the backyard last weekend with 2x4s and bricks and pavers and stuff everywhere.
Oh man, it sounds like you made an obstacle course.
Yep, I spent a whole weekend fortifying the backyard.
Oh
So I
man.
could go on vacation this week.
Oh, you good
and
with
go
it.
shoot Area 6 championship and not have to worry about the dogs escaping.
Uh-oh. Well, like I said, everything is fun and everything goes for a reasoning. Unlike our buddy Lucky, who ordered a dump truck full of dirt for his backyard. I'm like, dude is about to build a BMX track in his backyard. So I just think he just miscalculated the amount of dirt because he probably never ordered a dump truck. But then again, it might have been cheaper for him to get the dump truck load and moving that stuff around. I know he got to work out on that one.
Oh, he said he actually did it by himself, like the shovel and a wheelbarrow. That's
Oh man,
Hmm.
that's a lot right there.
I'm
That's
surprised
a
he's
lot.
still alive. He just got a new foot or something, didn't he?
Yeah, he had surgery on his foot, and so he had that surgery on his foot, and he's recovering pretty good, pretty fast. And but like I said, he's been putting in that work though. He's been putting in that work.
Man,
So, but then like I said, everybody's been doing little home projects around this time of COVID where you really can't go out and do stuff. So, I was actually laughing every time he gave me updates of what he was doing. So I was like, yeah, man, you're a little bit better than me. I think I would have waited for like closer to the fall when it was a little bit cooler because it's starting to get hot. I was like, I wouldn't be out there right now doing that stuff.
ugh, that's tough.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Tough
Right
work,
there.
hard work.
Yeah. So but outside of that though, we're one step closer to the South Carolina sectional.
Coming up soon.
Yeah,
Very
it's
cool.
coming up soon. But then again, at the time of this recording, we have how many? What's the time frame for Area 6? That's coming
It
up.
will
Next
be
week?
that this weekend.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So it will be this weekend.
Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. My days are all messed up. I've been so busy. So yeah, I remember last week I ended up going to Georgia to help a buddy of mine move to Florida. Got to Florida, stayed the night, came back, picked up the little assistant. Now we're here. So I'm like, I've been on the go all week. So I'm a little burnt out, but it's all in fun, all in smiles, and all in good memories. So you know how that goes.
I've always heard that you know who your true friends are if they'll help you move.
I never heard of it put like that. Well, one thing about my buddy Jeff, he's a cool cat. He's a college professor. He was a college professor, but he just retired. Him and his wife retired last year, later part of last year, and now they're moving to Florida for their retirement home. And their house is pretty big, and where he lives at in that area, I'm like, yeah, y'all gonna have fun with that. And then he made a proposition and asked that he needed help to move. So I was like, man, I got you. You know what I'm saying? Living that retired life. So I was like, I got you. So, but yeah, that kind of wore me out this week. And he had like a lot of going on.
Oh, it always is, man. I don't want to move.
Oh yeah. So we're gonna have an interesting show because we're gonna dive into a commercial break. We're gonna come back and we're gonna do our normal talking points, and then we're gonna have 5 minutes with Sergeant Gomez, right? And then we're gonna have the interview portion. I was trying to think of a name without saying the Super Squad, because we're gonna have a conversation with Beal, Rob Teague, Pop's Quest, yourself, the mad scientist, Coach B, and myself. And that's going to be an interesting match. And the reason why I said I was looking for, an interesting conversation, not an interesting match. And the reason why I said I was looking for a name outside of Super Squad, because we're going to be shooting the North Carolina Classic all together. And you know me and my beliefs of shooting outside of limited. And I'm going to talk about the decision I made, because you got to remember, I signed up for the squad, I left the squad, then I came back. I don't know if you saw that or not.
I didn't, but you mentioned that, and I want to get your thought process on that.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that. But let's go ahead and dive into this quick commercial break. Come on back and hit up Sergeant Gomez and do our talking points, and then dive into that interview portion with J. Beal and Rob Teague. And let's hear how that goes. All right. So everybody will turn up the volume on your listening device. If you're in your vehicle, tighten up those seat belts. If you're on the front porch, go ahead and throw your feet up on the table or that picket fence. Turn up the volume, and here are a few words from our sponsors.
Mental health and guns. At Walk the Talk America, we are working with both the mental health community and the gun industry. Created by a gun industry veteran, Walk the Talk America seeks to raise awareness and create change through suicide prevention and firearm safety without legislation. We strive to eliminate the prejudice that firearms and mental health face. For more information and to support Walk the Talk America, please visit walkthetalkamerica.org.
JM4 Tactical has developed a state-of-the-art polymer holster that will quickly become your go-to holster. With high-quality Herman oak leather securely sewn to the interior of the molded outer bolt-on shell, your draw becomes silent and no more scratches up and down your firearm. When seconds count, you can rest assured that you will have the upper hand when you need it most. Whether you carry open or concealed, the Relic holster is available in 4 different models, fitting over hundreds of different style guns. The new reliable, easy, light, individual carry holster by JM4 Tactical. Order your Relic today at jm4tactical.com.
What's up, good people? This is Michael Woodland from M-W Tactical,
This is Coach B from M-W Tactical.
and we are asking for your help with 2 GoFundMe campaigns that we have started. The first one is we are making a professional movie, and it's going to be about our day-to-day life within the sport of shooting. Details about this campaign can be found by visiting gofundme.com/we are making a professional movie. The second campaign, we are asking for you to donate to give financial assistance for those who cannot financially get the training they deserve. Remember, there are a lot of first-time gun owners out there, and I am asking for everyone in the gun industry to come together and make our community stronger. For more details, visit gofundme.com/free firearms training.
Remember how important training is to keep everyone informed and safe.
All right, good people. Thank you for sitting through that commercial break, and we're back at it with the second segment of the M-W Tactical Podcast. And as we said, going into the commercial break, we're going to do the segment that I really enjoy doing, but at the same time, I really do enjoy listening to it also. But this is the second time the segment is going to broadcast on the M-W Tactical Podcast. So what we ended up doing was we got our friend Sergeant Gomez to come back onto the show to do 5 minutes with Sergeant Gomez. So before we start the timer, how's it going for you there, G?
I'm good. Just hanging out. Finally got a little bit of downtime. Just got a 4-day weekend coming, so it's not too bad right now.
Oh,
Things are
man.
good. How's everything over there?
Yeah, everything's going pretty good. I don't know how I was operating in the military because, of course, I'm not in the military anymore. But how has the lockdown and the COVID restrictions affected anything y'all are doing as far as military operations from the drill sergeant standpoint?
So we are kind of limited as far as training goes. Like some of the soldiers or the trainees, they are missing out on some of the fun stuff. For example, the combatives, because of the close proximity.
Yeah.
So the MACP, the combatives, is not a thing right now, at least in our brigade and our battalion. The pugil sticks, because of the helmets, we didn't do either. And it's like those are like key to me personally. I think those are key pieces of training that kind of they kind of mold the individual, because some of these kids have never been hit. You know what I mean? Some of these kids have not been roughhoused with, and that changes the entire dynamic of just being an infantryman. Like it's just as important as breaking down their feet on a road march. Like, they don't know what they don't know until it happens, or until they start getting those aches and pains, and that bugle stick coming across that helmet, or that freaking arm bar, or that choke for the first time, or slap box. And some of them have never experienced it, and it sucks because they're missing out, and it's nothing on their fault. And for the most part, we can only do what we can based off the guidance from higher. But I think as the year goes on, it'll slowly start loosening them back up again.
Right.
So, I mean, like today we had the turning green ceremony where they graduate the first 9 weeks, the BCT portion of their entire 21 week or 22 week cycle.
Right.
And still with COVID restrictions, we only did a live stream of the graduation or the patching ceremony. And that was it. But I think looking forward, we might be moving in the right direction. Hopefully by the summer, maybe fall, we are back to normal.
Right.
But
yeah, I think that's pretty crucial. Also, the combative aspect of it, because even though when I was a drill sergeant, I was one at Fort Jackson, and it was mainly geared around the soft skills MOSs, meaning like people who work in the office. They're not frontline. They don't really do anything combat wise if stuff was to hit the fan. And I've said it when I was a drill sergeant. Half of these people never been hit in the face before, and they won't wake up until they get hit in the face, and then that's when reality was set in. And then you saw the change, like how the clock actually shifted as soon as they got hit one time, and then after that, then you'll see them start thinking and reacting. It's like something to smile about when you see it, especially after you teach them, for like a week or two, whatever it was we was doing it for.
Yeah, I mean, it's the closest thing I think to combat you can probably do is putting that pressure on somebody. And like I said, just the fact of them knowing, hey, I can get hit or I can get choked out.
Yep.
That changes the way they think, and
Yep.
they start taking their next move, or they start thinking in a more defensive or a offensive manner, instead of just going through the training as like just following instructions and getting through and checking the block. It's like, no, if you do not get in a proper position, it's going to hurt.
Yep.
And that translates to, I would say, if that's the closest thing you can translate it to the battlefields. If you're not doing the right thing, or if you're not following instructions correctly, you're going to get hurt, or someone else is going to get hurt. And they're missing out. But hopefully by the time, like I said, the fall, or maybe this summer, they'll be graduated and they get to their unit and they get spun up on it. But it's clearly important enough that the Army has kept that program and revamped it for a reason. Like it
exactly.
does happen, it gets used.
Yeah.
So it's not just one of those like the obstacle course, you know what I mean? The obstacle course, like you can't really justify why we have it other than building teamwork.
Right.
But the other stuff will keep you alive, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can go on about the military because the same conversations that you're talking about now is the same thing I was talking about when I was in. And like I said, I can go on all day about that stuff. But let's go ahead and move forward with the 5 minutes with Sergeant Gomez. So here we go.
It's time to answer some questions from a dedicated citizen, a soldier in your United States Army, someone who was deployed and served with the host, Michael Whitman, a soldier who is seeking more knowledge to pass on to those who serve under him. He will ask the questions, and this is 5 minutes with Staff Sergeant Gomez.
Hey, how's it going? MW Tactical, Coach B, the little assistant, and I think I might be missing one, right?
The mad scientist.
Missing me?
Yeah, the mad scientist. Yeah.
What's up,
Hello.
Sergeant Gomez? Good to hear from you again.
How's everything over there?
Yeah, everything's going good, man. Like I said beforehand, we want to bring you on and do another segment and take it for there. So the 5 minutes is all yours.
All right. So recently I just graduated the Marksman Master Trainer course here at Fort Benning.
Oh,
So,
nice. Nice.
Very cool.
5-week course. And it changes the entire perspective you have on, or it changed my perspective on the Army shooting, right? So Linda, like, hey, when you're in the Army, it was super cut and dry. Hey, you're going to take this position, you're going to shoot 20 rounds, you're going to move on. Recently, or not recently, but in 2016, the Army started, hey, we have a marksmanship issue. There's an issue with what soldiers are supposed to do. So they developed this doctrine, and now they are pushing for master trainers to go down to the unit and teach marksmanship. And it was the first time in the 12 years I've been in where we shot consistently. I think we shot over 2,000 rounds to the M4 and like 1,200 rounds to the 9mm. And it opened up a bunch of weak spots for me. I realized, like, hey, you're not as good as you thought. Or I had to walk in and leave my ego at the door. This course. And I always wondered that the timer, right, the shot timer that competitive shooters always train with, and you see it all over social media, that little beep or stand by beep, right? And I always wonder, like, how does that work? How does that translate to anything? Well, they put that timer on us. They put that timer on us and ran us through drills. And I don't know what it is about that freaking blue little box that gives you a little beep, but that changes the confidence in acquiring your target, pulling that first round, and then shooting the second round. So for you competitive shooters out there, that's kudos, man. Like, I don't know how y'all do it. That's day in and day out kind of thing for you guys. And it made me realize, like, hey, that shot timer actually works for more than just a scoring method. It puts that little, like, it puts that little bit of pressure mentally.
A little bit of stress, yeah.
Yeah, it's a natural stress, and it's only developed like internally on your own. Like the guy holding the timer isn't stressing you out, but the fact that you're being timed is what kind of threw me off, and I had issues with it.
Everybody does. Everybody does that.
Let me say something. Yeah, so let me chime in on this one. So at the beginning, you heard Sergeant Gomez say he went through marksmanship training course. Right?
Sounds great.
Yeah, it's a great course, and that's the unit that I was working for under AMU when I was in the military. Now, to dive even deeper into this, before the marksmanship unit was even made, right? I mean, not the marksmanship unit, meaning the Army marksmanship unit, but before that course that he was talking about, the Master Marksmanship Training course, our Sergeant Major over in Germany was implementing that. And what actually ended up taking place, and I want you to tell me if you remember this day or not, Sergeant Gomez. So the Sergeant Major had said this before we went to Afghanistan, that what he wanted quality people to teach marksmanship because he's seen a decline across the board, right? So when we was over in Afghanistan, what the Sergeant Major would do is he would pull squads, like as they're coming back off of missions, right? And you would go down to the range and he would talk certain things and try to pull the knowledge out of people so he can actually tag people to say, hey, I want to tag you with this, and I'm holding you accountable for making sure your squad, your platoon gets trained up, right? Now, he done this with every squad and every platoon under his command when we was over in Afghanistan. So I had that respect value for him. This is the same Sergeant Major where I told you when it was open, I told him I didn't respect them for what they did over in Mogadishu, the Black Hawk Down series, because they got glorified for messing up But when we messed up, he put his foot in our butt. I said it in front of like the whole company. Everybody was like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" Right. All right. So we was at the range one day, and the sergeant major, he had asked a question and something like, "How many of y'all think you can put 10 rounds into that index card?" All right. And from any position, what he says, everybody was scared. And I was like, "I'll do it." Right. And I don't know if you remember this, Gomez, when everybody started laughing when I said I will do it. Right. And then when I started doing it, everybody was like, "Whoa, hold on now. This guy can fight and he can shoot." Like, what's up with this? Right. Do you remember that day, Sergeant Gomez?
I do, because what threw us off, I remember, I think what had thrown us off was you were just so like, you were more like the background kind of dude, right? You sat in the back and you just like, yeah, whatever. You let the talkers talk. You would just sit back. And when you came out and you're like, "I can do it," we're like, "Yeah, all right. Like, we'll see." And then I remember you did it. After you did it, I don't know if it was you or somebody else that said, "I bet you he can fucking hit a card, like a regular casino card." It might have been you. If you put a pack of packing cards or playing cards, I can hit those too.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, actually, you probably can, because like your shot group was pretty tight on that index card. And it was a regular, I think, like 7x9.
Yeah, it was the regular, like a pack. Like you just go to the store and buy an index card. Yeah, and we was back quite a distance from. I can't remember the distance, but it was pretty far.
Yeah, that's what I was curious of, what the distance was.
Yeah, it was
with the M4.
Yeah, it was with the M4, but I was doing it from the seated position. Yeah, I wasn't like in the prone. I was in the seated position when I was doing it.
With iron sights?
I had an ACOG, but the ACOG wasn't magnified, right?
Okay.
And it didn't have it had the distance tree in it, but it didn't have the triangle in it. It was like a wonky ACOG that I had. When I sat down, I was like, "Yo, this right here, I might make myself look bad." But I applied everything, and like I said, my shot group was really tight, and it opened up everybody's eyes.
That'd be 100 yards easy, I think, with that.
I want to say it was further than 100. It might have been one. You remember what the distance was of that little range?
I think that range went out to 100, but he didn't seat you. He didn't put you in a position where you knew the distance.
Correct.
He was just like, "All right, you're gonna sit right here." And you're like, "Okay." And we all backed up, which means we were off the firing line. And you did it, and that was it. Like it was weird. It was awkward because he was just like, "Okay," like
the first guy up did it. So
yeah, I was the only one that did it. Yeah, I was the only one that did it.
He didn't acknowledge you. He wasn't like, "Hey, good job, Sergeant Woodland." That's how you do it. He was just like, he grabbed the index card, he played with it, folded it up, and walked off. And it's like,
that wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah,
exactly.
What happened? And we were just like, "All right, he did it," because we could see it. But he never took the time to be like, "Yeah, that's how you do it," or blah, blah. He didn't acknowledge the fact that it was done. And we're just like, "Yeah, typical Sergeant Major shit," you know what I mean? So, and then from then, he kind of like backed off when it came to us shooting. Like,
Sergeant Major couldn't do it. That's why he backed off.
No. I think the Sergeant Major could do it, but it was the fact that when we did, because remember I told you we did a battalion shakeup, and they moved all the E6s around in battalion, and I was the only E6 that stayed in the company. You know what I'm saying? So when I did that battalion shakeup, I moved over to Sergeant Gomez's platoon, and of course now the Sergeant Major, he hear the rumors of people talking and everything, but when we started talking about the training aspect, I had told him what I want to do is I want to train with a timer. And then he was like, "Well, how much is a timer?" Right. And I was like, "You probably can get a good one for like $150. And then he was like, "Okay, I can do that, but I can't do it for one platoon. I got to do it for like everybody under his command." And I think he was responsible for like 5 companies, because it was like the setup over in Germany was weird. It wasn't like in the States. We didn't have a division. It was only a brigade. It was weird to me. So that was his whole thing, was the money aspect. But then he said you can train with the whistle, and I was like, okay, I can figure out something, what I'm saying? But when we would go out to the range, we made it fun, but we made it challenging also. But I would always say, hey, request the range outside of the fob, because it was more open and you can do so much more. And we used to incorporate the vehicles and everything with the training that we would do.
Oh, it's so important to do that stuff, man.
Oh yeah, especially like when we did MRAP training, because the MRAP had the robotic arm on it. Yeah, it was awesome though. So I never shot the MRAP with the robotic because you're sitting in there looking at the screen. It's like a video game. But I used to let the soldiers do it all the time because they really enjoyed it. You know. But that was the one thing I wanted to implement, the buzzer, not buzzard, the buzzer into our training. And the only reason that was stopping it was the logistical aspect of ordering it and how long it would take to come over to Afghanistan. That was the one thing that stopped it. So
I think it's great to hear that from Sergeant Gomez that they're actually incorporating the timer now. It seems like such a subtle, like kind of useless tool, man. But when for training purposes, it introduces, that little bit of stress that you really can't get in another way. And I think it's great that the military are recognizing that now and implementing that into some training.
Well, now also you got to remember that organization that he's talking about, that's the same organization that John Browning has a piece in, far as the training with that course that Sergeant Gomez said he went through that I used to work for. So John Browning is one of the people who sits down and evaluates the people coming through, gives input and everything.
Oh, excellent. He knows the value of a timer for sure.
Oh yeah. What else you got, Sergeant Gomez?
Yeah, I mean, the issue with like the stressors is like in the Army, since I've been in, is the only focus they're worried about is the building your heart rate up, right? Like, oh, we're gonna do 20 push-ups and a sprint and a carry, and then you're gonna shoot. It's like, okay, I get it. That is a physical stressor, but the mental stressor, I think, is what adds more to the training, because that follow-through process or that shot process isn't just physical. And for the longest time, even as a private, just like a year ago, 2 years ago, when someone shot a shot group and their bullets were going up and down, the automatic answer was like the easy button was always, oh, it's your breathing. It's your breathing. Like, well, we've been breathing the same way for however old you are. It doesn't change when you're that one time on the range. Like, if you've been breathing for 23 years, when you get in the prone position, nothing should change. Right. But the shot process, which is now like the fundamentals of marksmanship, used to be, is completely different. And a lot of it ties into the mental aspect of it. And for a long time, I think the Army let that go away or never applied it. And now it's slowly being applied. And I mean, definitely a sustain. It's just a matter of getting the people who sign off on these risk assessments to say, hey, yes, I will take responsibility for this because it's good training. And that's the bad part in trying to run some kind of marksmanship program at the battalion or the company level, is having that commander approve, hey, I want to do some kind of advanced rifle marksmanship or some urban rifle marksmanship. It's like, we have to move forward. We have to go left. We have to go right. We have to be comfortable with shooting someone an arm's length away from us, but no one's willing to take that risk. Now, how do we get to that point? It's getting people out of their comfort zone. And instead of training like to the safest level, why don't we train them up to a level where safety, yeah, is still a priority, but that's not the only restriction. And I think we're still a little behind, but we're in the right direction.
Right.
And
I'm agreeing with that. I'm in agreement.
Like, it's good. It's going to take time. And I mean, I don't know if y'all keep up with any of the Army stuff, but like, we can't even get the physical readiness, like fitness test approved yet, because we are so far behind, because we still have old people in the Army who are stuck in their ways.
Mhm.
And you have these sergeant majors who, hey, it worked in Iraq in 2003. Why should we change it? It's like, well, times
Well,
change.
Mhm.
And just because it worked doesn't mean, or just because you got away with it doesn't mean it's right.
Well,
You know what I mean?
you also gotta remember that people are scared of failing, and when people start failing in the ranks, it's a hit on them. And remember, if you mess up as Staff Sergeant Gomez, your platoon sergeant's going to get a negative hit on his NCOER like you, and it just goes up till a certain level. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Yeah. And
oh,
And
that's
that's
tough. That makes everybody so cautious and skeptical
Correct.
about doing anything.
Correct. Yep.
and it sucks because it's like, I mean, I was reading a book, and this special unit team was talking about how their training is much harder and more dangerous than the real world like missions they go on for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And but in regular army, big army, like for me, no one's willing to accept that risk. But I think if you accept a little bit of risk, the dividends pay later. Like it's worth it. Granted, there needs to be a somewhere where you like where you, hey, you're not cut out for this kind of thing. Like there's got to be somewhere where you can evaluate people before they do go to an advanced rifle marksmanship range or a urban rifle marksmanship range. But there's tables for that.
Right.
It's like, hey, if you didn't qualify, you're definitely not moving on range. You got to get retrained. But it's always a battle for time, right? We're always finding time. And I think if we stop finding time and we focus on the standard, like what are we trying to reach? That's where we will get our quality over just quantity. Because everyone just wants to go to the range, shoot their 40 rounds, get up on the LMTV, go back and update the PowerPoint,
Mm-hmm.
right? 'Cause the PowerPoints are red. It's like, no, like, why are we here? We're here on the range to get better at shooting, not just to push people through.
Well, it goes back
And
to it goes back to statistics. Because if you don't get certain people qualified, now it's, oh, you're a bad instructor, and now it's a hit negative. And so we are the trickle effect.
yeah, it's just that evaluation portion.
Mhm.
But hey, we need to get away from that and focus on why we're really here.
Right.
And, I mean, it was a good course. It opened my eyes. Like I said, I walk into class every day. I left my ego at the door. And when we got to the range, it's like, yo, good thing you left that ego at the door, man, because your shot group on that 9mm ain't that tight. Like,
Oh, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
great though that you were able to do something like that. That sounds like a great class, great course.
Oh yeah.
it was awesome. Like I had a 7-meter engagement with a 9mm. All I had to do was draw, shoot one round, do a reload, and shoot again. And it's like, oh, too easy. I went up there, shot
Mhm.
my first round in the A group or whatever, the A slot.
A zone. Yeah.
My second round over his shoulder. It's like, what happened? I'm 7 meters away. Like I can spit
Yep.
on this target.
Change
It's
the
like, no,
sight picture. Change the sight
that,
picture.
that shot timer, the fact you're being graded, you're at a course, like there's a female there. Like the confidence level came down, but by the end of it, it came back up because you felt like you were trained like you're supposed to be. And during that course, we actually had 2 females graduate, and one of the 2 females was actually the honor guard or the honor grad.
Nice.
So it's cool. It worked. Their instruction, their block of instruction worked.
Right. When I actually took that course, the way I got the job was during the course, they came to me and asked me if I wanted to be an instructor there. That's how I ended up getting a job there. So I was like, wow, that's like kind of OJT right there. You know, they looking at you shooting, and they was like, okay, we want you to come aboard because you're doing pretty well.
Yeah, that they were definitely handing out jobs. Like, I mean, obviously you had to earn them, but
Right.
hey, you should come back. Hey man, you're almost there, but I recommend digging into the TC and maybe you can come back. But
Mhm.
they do a good job at filtering out who should be there and who should not.
Yeah, that's one thing I can say too. Same thing happened when I went through, and like you said, the filtering process, it's on point. You know, it's on point. So one of those things. So I'm glad you actually went through that course, and at the same time, I'm glad you paid attention to a lot of times when I was sitting back talking marksmanship, especially when we was over in Afghanistan. So, but I'm just glad to hear like you opened your mind and you absorbed that stuff like a sponge. So that right there makes me smile in the best way.
Yeah, I mean, and it's all backed by doctrine.
Yep.
And
Mhm.
it's the cool thing about it is like it wasn't just written by some nerd behind the desk. Like they took the time and put people in these positions who were validated to actually put this stuff on paper because it works.
Yep. All right. Well, like I said, we appreciate you coming on, sharing that experience with us. And
Excellent.
yeah, we're about to dive into this next commercial break and dive into the next section with J. Bill and Rob Teague. But we're gonna bring you back again here in the next couple weeks and have another segment of 5 minutes. That's really like 10 to 15 minutes with Sergeant Gomez.
Yeah.
I love it.
Appreciate y'all having me on.
Hey, no problem, my man. And if anything, I want everybody to go ahead and stay in your seats, turn the radios up, go get a drink of beverage, whether it be water, lemonade, or milk. And here are a few words from our sponsors. What's up, good people? Thank you for taking the time and listening to the M-W Tactical Podcast. Please go visit the M-W Tactical store at www.m-wtactical.com/store and help support our efforts by purchasing a shirt or two. If you haven't done so, go follow us on Instagram and Facebook by searching for M-W Tactical.
The gun cleaners.
Our solvent is, I think, second to none. Our lube is second to none. Our lube's heavier than water, which is just a huge thing. People don't really put a lot of thought into that, just how huge that is to have on your gun, especially with concealed carry.
The gun cleaners.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
You know, you're going to sweat a lot of the other lubes off. With ours, it'll stay there.
The gun cleaners.
And maintaining the quality of the process, the quality of the end result is another, and you guys are able to do both with the process that you have there.
Order your supply of the lube and the solvent at www.theguncleaners.com.
Are you in the market to purchase your first or next firearm, but find the atmosphere of a gun store intimidating, crowded, or uninviting? There's a way for you to purchase the gun you want while avoiding the crowds, the gruff salesmen, and the marked up prices that come with a brick and mortar gun store. The process is called a transfer, where the purchase is made in an online store and sent to a federally licensed middleman called an FFL, who processes the paperwork and background check for a firearm purchase. CAE Transfers is the FFL with the lowest transfer cost in the Midlands at only $20 or $15 with the presentation of a South Carolina concealed weapons permit and $10 for repeat customers. If you live in Columbia, South Carolina or its surrounding areas, choose CAE Transfers as your FFL during checkout and let me help you complete your online gun purchase. You can find and follow CAE Transfers online at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram using @CAE Transfers. Thank you for your business, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
I'm Jason Pratt, Masterclass USPSA shooter, owner of Brass Monkey Bullets. If you're interested in competition bullets, visit www.brassmonkeybulletsllc.com or call me at 423-967-1063. For more information, my email is brassmonkeybulletsllc@gmail.com. Thank you.
What's up, good people? This is Michael Woodland from M-W Tactical.
This is Coach B from M-W Tactical.
And we are asking for your help with 2 GoFundMe campaigns that we have started. The first one is we are making a professional movie, and it's going to be about our day-to-day life within the sport of shooting. Details about this campaign can be found by visiting gofundme.com/we are making a professional movie. The second campaign, we are asking for you to donate to give financial assistance for those who cannot financially get the training they deserve. Remember, there are a lot of first-time gun owners out there, and I am asking for everyone in the gun industry to come together and make our community stronger. For more details, visit gofundme.com/free firearms training.
Remember how important training is to keep everyone informed and safe.
All right, good people. We're back at it again, and thank you for sitting through that commercial break. And during the commercial break, I had to make a phone call. Well, actually, I had to make 2 phone calls. So we had both of these people on the show prior, but this time, as I stated, I was thinking of a name outside of the Super Squad, but I couldn't come up with anything other than Ooper Squad. But then I was like, no, I don't want to say Ooper Squad because that sounds goofy, like everybody's tripping over their feet. So maybe we might come up with something before the end of this show. So I want to introduce my buddy and my friend, Rob Teague, aka Pops Quest, and the one and only J Bill. How's it going for you, fellas?
Good, great. I'm just happy to be on the phone with Jay and David and yourself. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling.
Hey, no problem.
It's pretty cool. I feel very special to be a part of this conversation. It's awesome.
I'm going to tell y'all how this actually came about. And this was a last minute thing. I was talking with Dave, whatever day it was, because my whole week has been busy, like you wouldn't believe. And he just came out of the blue and was like, hey, man, I'm going to sign up for the North Carolina section, and I'm going to be on the squad with Jay and Rob. And if you want to, you can jump on the squad with us. And I was like, okay, cool. So what I ended up doing was when I originally signed up, I signed up for the squad. And then I looked at it. It was a bunch of carry optics and open. And I was like, oh, no, I'm jumping off of that squad. So I went to another squad, which was Lucky Squad, and it was like everybody was limited. And I was like, all right, cool. Then I went back and I looked at it again, and then there was a limited master on the squad. So I was like, okay, that's who I'm going to right there look at and reference and everything else. So I jumped back on the squad. So,
well, I'm glad you jumped back on, man.
Oh, yeah. So, but I got a reason for that. I got a theory behind that, but we're going to dive into it when we start talking a little bit more. And you're going to laugh about it. So as I'm driving back, because I ended up going to Florida last week, right? So as we're driving back from Florida, me and my buddy Jeff, I'm trying to come up with this name. And I was like, okay, we can't say the Super Squad, but I need something that's better. And then I was like, in my mind, I'm talking to myself because my man Jeff doesn't know anything about shooting. So I'm like, Ooper Squad, that sounds cool. But then when I said it, I was like, oh no, put a bad taste in my mouth. So I was like, okay. So then I hit Dave up and I was like, hey, I got a great idea. Since we're on the squad with Rob and Jay, let's get them on the show and talk about that match that's coming up. And then, everybody's doing carry optics. Well, done the carry optics minus myself. And I think that'll be an interesting conversation right there. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. Then that's when I hit y'all up, and now we're here.
This is cool. I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah. So
yeah.
So
it's a good squad. I was like, man, that formed quickly, and I'm so glad that I got my spot. And like, Dave texted me last night, and I was in bed about to pass out, and I'm like, I better get up and do this. And sure enough, it was full. By the time Michael, I think you jumped on last, and I was like, yep, there it went, boom.
Yep. And like I said, I jumped on, jumped off, and then jump back on again.
Yeah, that's really funny. No, that it's pretty cool to because this is how it works. You arrange ahead of time with people, and you're like, no, we're gonna go in this squad. David let me pick the squad, so I was like, yeah, squad 22. 22 is my favorite number, so let's go with that squad.
I'm wondering why did you pick that squad? I was like, I'm whatever, that's fine. I don't know.
But it's cool. Like we got my brothers on that squad, Nick and the Dupuy brothers. So that's Bryce and Blaine, and those guys are awesome. I got to meet them last year at the Carolina Classic.
Yeah.
So
Joel Fisher, do you shoot with him up that way, right?
No, I don't actually shoot with Joel up here, but we talk all the time. So Joel as well.
He's an awesome shooter too, man.
And you're shooting with him at Area 6, I think.
Oh, well, I don't know if we're on the same squad, but that's
maybe
cool.
not.
If he's shooting a match. No, that's I know, I recognize all the names, and I'm like, yes, 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 and yes. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
That's a good perspective, the way to look at it.
We've got another Rob on the squad as well. I don't know if you know Rob Epifania, but he's a really good dude also, and it's going to be a great time. It'll be awesome.
Cool. Yeah. No, I don't know him. That might be the only one. That's cool.
All right. So now let me ask y'all this, and I want to get everybody's perspective on this. Training up for Area 6 and the North Carolina Classic, are you dedicating your training time after looking at the match book, or are you just upping your training value? Like, I just know I need to improve on something. So which way is your training value going into both matches?
Who's going first?
I'll let Dave go first.
Dave, go first, because then I can just like copy what he said.
You got my training is very different, I'm sure, than most people's. But looking at going into Area 6, which I'm going into next weekend, I looked at the match book, just looking for any kind of odd start positions or any kind of weird shooting requirements that you don't normally see. And I didn't really see anything but an unloaded start.
Correct.
And
that's it.
I know every morning when I get up to dry fire practice, I don't always incorporate unloaded starts into my dry fire, so I've started doing that. So now I work on unloaded starts every morning until Area 6. It looks like, the target presentation's pretty basic. There's nothing like super crazy or weird. So I really didn't, looking at the matchbook, I didn't really get a whole lot of stuff that I needed to kind of turn around or change my my current training or dry fire on, other than do a little bit more on a unloaded start.
Okay. Now, what about you, Rob?
I'm gonna say I look at match books less and less. I think when I went to shoot my first major match, I literally tried to figure everything out before I even got out the car. You know what I mean? But I've learned to realize that they don't give you much information. Although I will say, with the new technology and like SketchUp and like little Lego pieces, they're a little more realistic than they were when I first started shooting. But I think I'm right there with Dave, and I knew I was going to copy what he said, but it is true. You look for the anomalies, like you look for the weird stuff, because everything, most of the stuff is just stuff you've done before. You're looking for the stuff maybe that's like, oh, that's weird, like there's, and maybe round count, and that's about it. That's really about it. I don't. When you see them on the ground is really when you have to decide what you're going to do, so.
All right. What about you, Jay?
Well, I'll pretend like I am shooting Area 6. I was going to do it, but it doesn't work out quite for me to make it down, just because of goats giving birth and things happening. So,
silly goats.
Silly goats. But I really think you guys said everything there. I'm not going to have much to add. Like the first time I saw a matchbook, we printed it out. Me and my brother printed it out. We made notes, and then and all this stuff. We like walked the stages when we got there, made notes on the things, you know, and I think that has the potential to just add more kind of mental tension when you get there. And so I really like just looking for things that are out of place. And then, like you said, Dave, you know, like I practice unloaded starts a little bit leading up to this to make sure those are dialed in. And other than that, like my training leading up to a match is my training leading up to a match. If it's a USPSA match, which is all I shoot. So
Yeah, I got you. Now, for me, I do things a little bit differently. Okay, so I don't change my dry fire practice at all. I do it religiously, right? Just so I'm reinforcing that muscle memory of coming out the holster and, you know, eye before, you know, eye on the target, then the firearm is following. What I do differently is I'll give the match book to Coach B. And I was like, okay, tell me what to do outside of what I'm doing. So, of course, you know, a day or two later, she'll get back with me and then she'll be like, you know, there's only one unloaded start. And I was like, okay, cool. So now the determination is, do I practice the unloaded start or do I just take my time when the timer goes off? You know, so some days I get flustered with it. Some days I'll just be like, you know, I'm just going to take my time. So I'll avoid the DQ. So it's one of those measures with me. So one day I might dive into it hard. The next day I'll be like, okay, just relax with it and see how it goes. But the most important thing is don't go too fast to get yourself DQ, throwing the firearm off of that start table, you know? So, and
you know, the best time to practice an unloaded start is after they say make ready.
yeah, that's one way to look at it. Yeah. So
that way it's fresh in your brain and, you know, nothing could go wrong.
All right. So now let me ask y'all this one. All right. I'm going to start off with you this time, Rob. Which match are you looking more to do? Like if you had your choice to do which one first between Area 6 and the North Carolina Classic, which one would you do first and why?
Well, I've never shot the area match. Yeah. So I'm excited. It's 12 stages in one day. So I get to challenge myself with my new, you know, fitness abilities and like my endurance of, you know, so I actually get to push that a little bit, which is going to be awesome. Get to see how I feel after 12 stages mentally and physically. Never done that. So I'm more intrigued by that. And I think when, you know, I'm really kind of focusing really on the South Carolina State match. You know, the North Carolina match is out there a little ways. You know, we got time to sort of play with that. But the North Carolina match, the last match video that I made of their Carolina Classic, I always give my match videos a little, you know, kind of a queer title. And I called it the Carolina Class Act Classic. And they really were the first people to come to us with a different plan, program, protocol, what have you, procedure, and do that half-day format, no competitor reset. And so I've just always loved going to their matches. They always put on a good show. And it's really a match where you can just focus on shooting. And then South Carolina stepped up, and I think we started doing it, and then Georgia started doing it. And I always think about that North Carolina match as the match that started that, and I just love it.
Yeah, no, I really do appreciate that when you actually go to a match and you don't have to reset anything. You can just focus on the match. I really do appreciate matches like that. You know, so now, I know you said you're not doing the area match, Jay. So,
right.
If you were between the North Carolina Classic and Area 6, which one and why?
Yeah, I'm going to pretend like I am shooting Area 6. I'm just not going to leave for the match. That's all I'm doing.
Hey, that's it right there. That's it.
Which one do I do first? That's tricky. I kind of think I like how the Carolina Classic is, it's kind of, you know, it's towards the end of the year, and I would leave it there. Like, I'm happy with the order they're in. And kind of like what what Rob said, this is just going to sound like we're talking up this match so much, which we are, but it's awesome. I heard Ben Barry on his podcast like a long time ago, and when he does them, but he's one of the guys who have always staffed that match, no matter where it is, and kind of worked with that. And I think his wife is is she the coordinator for Stephanie Barry? Anyway, I always heard so many good things about it. I always wanted to go to this match, and then really, like, I couldn't go if it wasn't for John and Outdoor Dynamics. So he's awesome. Anyway, I would shoot that match where it is right now. I like that match being in September, or I don't know when it's been in the past, but I would leave it right in that order.
Okay. What about you, Dave?
Let's see. I think I shot the Carolina Classic for the first time 3 years ago, maybe. And it has since been my favorite match that I have ever shot as far as a major match goes. And I don't know, the half day format helps with that, I think. Not having competitor reset, you focus on shooting. You go out there and you shoot. You reload your mags, you get a sip of water, a little bite to eat, and then you're on to the next stage. And it's just focused for the competitor, from a competitor's standpoint. I mean, I think it's a perfect format. And I think it even helps from the staff format from resetting stages. I mean, I think, staff, once you get in the groove with how you're resetting a stage, you can even reset it faster than if you were to have 20 people, from a squad walk out and randomly paste targets here and there or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
I like that match a lot, and I'm glad that we're doing the South Carolina match like that this year. I've shot the Area 6 match the last 2 years. This will be my third year shooting that area match, and I really enjoy it. It's been in Florida the last couple times. I'm glad it's closer to home. I don't mind the order that it's in right now. I'm excited, and I've been training for the Area 6 match, but I have so much vested into the South Carolina sectional. I have to defend my title, and I'm directing the match. So there's so much, mentally that the South Carolina match is requiring of me. But I love the Area 6 match. I always have. It's going to be a great time. There's a lot of great shooters that show up to this match. So it'll be good. It'll be a good match. I'm looking forward to both of them, Area 6 and NC State.
Nice. Okay. So my take on it is, I'm not looking forward to either one to come first or come second, because last year I got DQ'd at the North Carolina match. So of course, when I'm looking at the North Carolina match, I'm looking at it more along the lines of going back to redeem myself. All right. Because remember, I did, was it 2 or 3 stages, and then that 3rd or 4th stage is when I got DQ'd.
I remember that. You showed up the stage where I was shooting and said, why are you here? What's going
Yeah. Yeah, I was like, let me watch everybody else shoot. But the whole thing behind that was, of course, over the course of time, I learned a few lessons. And that, when I was feeling myself and I went into it after the first stage, I had plucked myself as the better shooter out of that group. And that ego turned around to be an ego check that got me DQ'd. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking forward to redeeming myself at that North Carolina match. As far as Area 6 goes, last year, Area 6 was my best match overall out of all the matches that I've done, major match-wise. And
I remember that. I remember looking at the results because I didn't go, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna cry in my beer and go look at everyone who did good." And I remember seeing And I was like, damn, Michael, he schooled those boys down there. You did great, man. You you shot a hell of a match.
Yeah. And one thing about it was, I think it was the reset aspect of it, because we didn't have to reset it. And then the other aspect of it was Coach B, she actually helped me out more that match than she did any other match that she went with, with me. And I think the conversations we were having, she was calming me down, because, a lot of times when you see me, even at a local match, I'm still sitting there, I'm looking at everybody, I'm analyzing this, and I'm putting too much thought into it. And she took my mind off of it, and we was talking about a turkey and cheese sandwich on one stage. I remember the conversation, right?
This is the secret.
Yeah.
Sharing the secrets, Mike.
Yeah, that was it. And then, and like I said, it was that whole match, I was so relaxed, and I just went into it, and I was like, okay, I'm going to have fun. And before you knew it, it was like, oh, I'm up. And then I had to calm myself down, and then I just ran it. And it turned out to be the best match I had that year. So
awesome.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, cool. All right. Try to repeat it this year, but I don't know. But
you just gotta bring the turkey and cheese.
Yeah, that was well, we didn't even have turkey and cheese.
Well, no, don't eat turkey. That makes you go to sleep. You want to have chicken or even red meat is really good the night before.
Right. So Rob knows
chicken and think about turkey.
Yeah, that's it. Right. That's it. Right. So all right. So
I want a goat sandwich.
Yeah. So now looking at all the matches and the matches, people who are designing matches now, it seems like the imagination field is opening up, because there's a couple classifiers that, like even when you look at like certain matches and you're like, man, this can be like a classifier right here. And of course, the match book for Area 6, it has some interesting stages in it. And I want to say it was 2 of them I claimed that could be a classifier. So I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if that shows up again at National, probably revamped a little bit. Do you think stages that are considered classifiers are more challenging or are they more challenging from the technical aspect or the physical aspect? And I'll start off with Jay this time.
Yeah, so my whole approach has always been every stage gets the same process mentally. Mm-hmm. So when you're talking about like technically, or what was the question again here? I'm just talking without knowing what I'm trying to say.
Okay. So when you look at a stage, and let's say you go to a classifier stage, do you look at the classifier stage as more a mental challenge or a more physical challenge?
Oh yeah. So
the technicality of it.
Yeah, like every stage that I shoot, and so we'll just say, yeah, that it's a classifier stage, or a shorter stage, or something like that. That's a good question. That's a mental challenge. Every single stage I shoot is a mental challenge. The technical stuff is relatively easy to learn. So like this is, here are these targets, here's what I have to do. Let me get my mind in the proper form of thinking about a turkey sandwich, and then I'm going to shoot. I think that's what I'm thinking about. Now everybody knows what to think about right before they shoot. So
turkey sandwich.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt, so all rights of that idea is broadcasted and edited by.
Yeah, when Steve Anderson asks you what your focus phrase is, tell him turkey sandwich.
All right. So what is your thought process on that there, Rob?
Well, I think USPSA is learning that we want more movement and more things that actually emulate a USPSA stage. I got butthurt in a major way about the classification system because I sucked at classifying and I didn't do the work to make myself a better classifier. And I always said, oh, classifiers are just stand and shoots, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And then I realized that I sucked at deja vu all over again. And that just made me realize that there are dudes that are, rolling this thing at 100%, and you're able to put up an 82, shame on you. So I think that they're changing the classifiers. I think we've seen, and not only the 3 from this year, but the year before, like when I went down and shot limited 10 nationals, it was a low cap nationals, and I was shooting limited at the time. So I'm like, oh, let's just drive down, because the regular limited was you had to fly to. And I'm like, nah, I ain't flying. We'll drive down. And we saw a couple new classifiers there. And I was like, oh, that's the one cool thing about going to nationals is you get to shoot the classifiers as they're being like figured out by the dudes that are going to shoot them the best. And so if you're looking for an excuse to go shoot nationals, that's like one of the best reasons. But anyway, to get back on topic, I got new respect for the classification system. And I know that's not exactly the answer you wanted, but you have to be able to handle the gun and do all the things. But I love the fact that there's some physical element to some of these things now. I don't like just manipulating the gun. In other words, I love Steve Anderson's program. I like the dry fire, 12 skills, 10 skills, whatever they are. I can't remember. But I don't like to just be able to do those things and GM or M. I want to be able to move my way and actually roll with the stages that, that I can actually perform at that M level. And so some of these new classifiers that are coming around actually let you do that. So I'm that's probably I went around and then not to the point anyway, but if that makes sense, I really have new respect for the classification system as it's being developed, and I hope they continue to do what they're doing. But I think it's a little bit of both. You know what I mean?
Right. All right. What about you, Dave?
I think at my point in my shooting now, just about everything I do is a balance mentally, or a struggle mentally. I can walk up to a stage, anything that you see in USPSA, and I know that I can accurately hit 2 alphas on any target out there. I don't have a problem with accuracy. I don't have a problem with the physical aspects of it, moving through a stage quickly. I can get through a stage quickly. But when it comes to combining both of those things together, it's a mental process for me trying to maintain my visual focus and my visual patience, making the shots as I need to, as I'm moving through the stage as quickly as possible. It's been something I've been working on, for the last couple of years. Accuracy was what I started with the beginning of last year, and I got to that point. I did. Finally, I was shooting too accurately. I would finish several stages with like all alphas shooting an open gun. And I was like, I really don't need to do that. But my accuracy was there, but my speed wasn't there. So I once I knew that accuracy was taken care of, I went back to just focusing on speed. I've gotten to where I'm comfortable with my speed. I'm running, through a whole match quicker than anybody else. My speed's there, but my consistency is kind of off a little bit with my accuracy. Not accuracy, like I don't struggle with accuracy. It's consistency at speed. So it's all mental for me right now, regardless of the stage, whether it's a classifier or not. I actually focused a lot on classifiers at the beginning of this year, trying to move into a GM class, and the mental aspects of those classifiers got me. I didn't quite make it.
Right.
So it's a mental game to me. I know how to shoot a gun. I know how to move through a stage. Combining all that and staying, mentally focused and doing what I need to do is where the challenge is for me right now.
I got you on that. Well, my thing is, I've learned and this was the year before last, going into up until the middle of last year, that I put too much stress on myself when it came to classifiers, especially when I was chasing the grade, meaning the
Yeah.
class.
It's easy to do.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So I was putting too much stress on myself. And it was one match, and I remember it was in Spartanburg. And, Rob was even like, hey, man, just look at the classifier as any other stage you do. Right. And I was like, okay, that's a good approach. 3 seconds after that conversation, the stress hit me again, and I was back to my original way of thinking. So, what he actually said to me, it didn't set in until about 4 or 5 months later. Because if you ever notice, all the videos I put up, I don't put up classifier videos, right? Because I'm focusing on what I need to do so hard, and I'm like, okay, I don't want to do this, and then put up, and then, of course, every video I record, I put up, regardless if I mess up or not. And the last time we went to Kentucky, I don't know if you remember it, Dave, but you was like, yo, you shot that pretty fast and clean right there. Right. And I even said it, the two outside targets on that classifier, what was it called? Like Pepper Jack, Cracker Jack, or
Cracker Jack.
yeah.
I think so.
That
Yeah.
classifier.
Yeah, you shot it well.
Yeah. So I shot three rounds on the two outside targets in the middle, and that middle display of the three targets. And both you and Tom said the same thing. Like, did you feel like you needed to put three on there? And I said, because it was the partial, I second guessed myself, but I really didn't need it. But
Yeah, but I
the-
think that's what did you in on that one.
yeah,
You just automatically programmed in an extra shot, even though you didn't need it.
yeah, exactly. So, and but once again, I went into that classifier, but I was more relaxed. So now, because you remember what I said at the beginning of the season, that I wasn't going to go to any all classifier matches this year,
Mhm.
and I would rather get like classified by doing the major matches, because of the fact I think you have more ability to recover at a major match versus an all classifier match. Especially if you mess up one stage, mentally that can carry over to the next two stages. Depending on how you look at it and how you weigh yourself.
Yeah, if you let it, it
Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
can.
most definitely, most definitely. So, but I am looking forward to all the matches that are coming up here, that we're about to shoot. But at the same time, I do appreciate the aspect of when something is challenging me, I know for a fact I can call Rob or Dave. And then each time I call, y'all both answer the phone and then, give me the guidance that I feel I'm getting. So I haven't called Jay, but every time I call Jay, it's like on something silly or, hey, you want to get on a podcast?
We'll call me whenever. It's all good.
Oh yeah, that's what it is right there. So nationals. It's not in Florida this year, but
Yay!
I know. Somewhere different.
that was my next question. So how are you feeling about that, and how are you looking at it? From the location standpoint, which will be the conditions, the elements, the weather, and all that, and the environment, the culture and the people that are stage designing and setting it all up. So what's your take on that? And I'll start with you this time, Dave.
I spent most of 2020 in Florida, so I'm very
Yes.
glad that
Yes.
there's a match somewhere else this year. I think I started in December at the Florida sectional, I think is what it was, in December. And then I went back in January, Florida State, February, Florida Open. I think, I don't know, I could be getting mixed up. Anyway, I spent like 6 months in a row in Florida. I thought about getting a condo there. But I'm glad that, I don't have to go to Florida this year for nationals. But, a couple years ago, I flew out to Utah, which was interesting, out there in the desert. I want to try to keep shooting nationals, and if I have to fly, it may be, necessary, but I'm glad it's somewhat local here. It's not in Florida. I don't mind Florida. I mean, there's such a great community of shooters there in Florida. It's a great place to shoot. You can shoot every single weekend year round in Florida if you wanted to. I don't have any problem with that. It's just somewhere a little bit different, every now and then is kind of interesting to me. So I'm looking forward to this range in particular. In Talladega, I've seen videos and pictures of it, and it looks great. I've never actually been to this range before. So I'm looking forward to checking this one out.
Okay. What about you, Jay?
Yeah, so I'm new to this, so like I don't shoot a lot of major matches, and I like it doesn't matter to me where the match is necessarily. I'm more just like happy to go and shoot it. But that being said, I think the Talladega range is going to be really nice. And I was looking at lots of videos, and they've had Steel Challenge there for a few years now, the championships, and they've had some nationals there. So I'm looking forward to what they put together there, and what kind of happens with the stages, if they're any different. I don't know exactly. I think exactly who's designing them all, but Shannon Smith is not going to be part of building them, I think, this year as much. I could be totally wrong. So we might see something a little bit different. We might get a representation of that as we see what happens with low cap nationals in May. So anyway, we'll kind of see, but I'm really looking forward to it. This is I don't know. I'm just so excited about this anyway. So lost for words, but this is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
All right. What about you, Rob?
Well, I've come to realize I missed a hell of an investment opportunity. Dave and I should have bought a condo together down in Florida.
We should have.
I can one up Dave. I shot the multi-gun nationals down there as well, and every other damn thing down there, which seems like it was a lot of fun. But yeah, I spent a lot of time in Florida, and I'm gonna shoot the 2-gun nationals down at Talladega in July. I think it's in June or July. I'm already signed up, already squatted, paid, ready to go. And so I get to go preview that place and make a nice match video for you guys and kind of see what they're gonna do, kind of stages they're gonna put up, and what the bays are like and everything with the big sky cam. And so yeah, I'm really excited about going to that, but I'm also excited about the new location. I have looked at videos from that place as well. I've never been there. To me, it's all about new experiences, new things, and just new environment, new match directors, new stages, this and that and the other thing. And I'm excited. I'm excited about it. I'm ready. I'm already ready.
Yeah, let's go now. We can do it now.
Let's do it now. Yeah.
Are there any spots left for that multi-gun?
The 2-gun? Oh man, I think
whatever.
It's probably not sold out, but man, a week after, I'm like, ammo shortage. No one's gonna sign up for this thing, dude. Those squads filled so fast, it was ridiculous. I'm sure there's some spots. Don't get me wrong. But man, I was like, holy crap. And Federal Ammunition has stepped up. I got an email, and they said they're going to supply ammo for the match. I'm like, great. It's the 150 grain Syntech. Buy all you want. Tell us what you want. The only thing they haven't said is what's the price.
Cost.
Cost. So we were talking about that last year, end of last year, at some point when the ammo shortage started. We were talking about hoping or wanting to get in touch with Federal and trying to work something out like that. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I even made a little videos, begging Federal to, hey, you want to sponsor matches, you want to be, match sponsor, you want to do this, you want to do that with the sport. How about find a way to get match grade primers into the hands of people shooting matches? It just kind of makes sense. And I don't know if anyone from Federal saw that video. It got a lot of views. Who knows, man? But I think it makes sense. But whether it's possible or not, I don't know. But they're doing it, so maybe it is. I mean, on a national level,
Yeah,
not on the
maybe
club level. So.
Maybe at a national level it makes sense. It's probably not, at a lower level. But yeah, I'm glad they're able to do this.
Yeah. So my take on it is this: as far as the whole aspect, I've only been to Talladega one time, and I don't really remember the area, like weather-wise and all that. I never been to that that range there in Talladega either. So nationals in Florida, I was really looking forward to it being in Florida again, but once again, I guess everybody else had a problem with it. And I was like, "Nah, I kind of liked it, you know. But
But it's not really Florida. It's like in the middle of freaking nowhere. I mean,
I was cool with
raise
it.
your hand if you feel like you're in Florida when you're down there. I mean, only the heat and the rain. Other than that, it doesn't really. I mean, it doesn't say Florida to me, But
See, I think,
beautiful place. Don't get me wrong.
yeah, yeah. I think my take on it is different because a lot of times when people go to these places, they actually go out and do a little sightseeing. Like Dave actually went around and found a restaurant and went there every night. But this was up in North Carolina though when he did that. But
Oh, the barbecue place. I'm going back.
oh yeah, I'm going there too this time. All right, it was pretty decent. But for me, whenever I go someplace, I don't venture out because by the time I get finished with the match, I'm so mentally drained. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go back to the room and relax. And then of course, I take notes down of what I think I did good and what I didn't do good. And I just ponder on the match until I go to sleep. And then of course wake up the next day, either go to the match or head home, whatever the case may be. But I've even like events that I go to, I don't hang out like that. I just go do what I gotta do, and then I come back to the room and go to sleep, and then I leave. So one thing I do like about the matches is showing up about a day or two earlier and actually doing the walkthrough because once again, Rob was the one who told me, man, don't study that match book too hard because you're gonna mess yourself up. Because the match books don't look like they do on the ground.
Oh, there were so many things different. Yeah.
Oh man. So like the first match I went to with Rob and John, what I did was I had like drawings and like triangles and like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. What do you think about this, Rob? And then Rob was like, you follow that if you want to. Tell her how you gonna end up with it. So I was like, huh? What? Then sure enough, we showed up. I was like, oh Lord, have mercy. I see what he's saying.
Wisdom from Rob. Amazing.
Yeah, but actually, Rob actually gives me a lot of knowledge on the range. And like one time I told somebody what he had told me, they was like, what? And I was like, yeah, maybe he don't talk to you like that, but he actually talks to me. Maybe he likes me and don't like you. I don't know.
No, so Rob, I get stuff. I watch all your videos because I don't watch many people's match videos, but I watch all your videos because I always get something little out of it that I really like. And one thing specifically I remember you said, I don't remember what it was in, but you said people coming up and asking, how's your match going or whatever. And you said your response to that is always like, I'm having the match of my life. And that was, and I was like, that is it right there. Like, no matter what, I'm having the match of my life. And you said, because we don't know when the last match we shoot will be. We don't know that. So like right now I'm having the best match of my life. And that's your default response, and I'm stealing that, and I stole it. But it's so true.
That's awesome.
It's with that attitude, and I mean, this is with all your stuff that you put out, but everything is it's so good. And I don't know how we got there, but I interrupted.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you interrupt him. I have I have an admin key here. I can turn him off for just a second, so it's all good.
Yeah. So
No, I appreciate that.
oh yeah. So and it's like I said, one thing I appreciate the aspect because I feel what you do is you go into a stage, regardless if it's a major match or a local match, and I think your process is you take the more difficult aspect of analyzing it, and then you go through your process of elimination and say, okay, I'm gonna do this because this makes more sense. And a lot of times I see like people do a stage run and they'll look at somebody and be like, okay, I'm gonna do what they're doing. And they're not even putting a real thought into it. And then there's been a few times where I saw you come up with a stage plan, sat back and thought about it, and was like, one simple step. I'm going to do this because it leads up to this. And you actually talk about it like openly like that. And I don't know if you do it to everybody, but I know when I'm around, you actually do it. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
No, I try to explain things, but also I look at a guy like you and you're super fast. Like you're very, very, very fast. You can go from here to there very fast.
Mhm.
And I think it was one time in Florida and you were air gunning some stuff. And I'm like, Michael, go from here to there, super, super fast, stand there and shoot all the stuff. I was like, yeah. And I still don't know if you took my advice, but I'm like, no, why shoot all that on the move when you can be there in like a second?
Right. Yeah, I remember that one.
It's like, I don't know if I'm helping when I say stuff like that, or if I'm just like, oh my God, I shouldn't have said anything,
Well, no, because I remember somebody else, they heard you say that, and then they was like, why is he talking to you like that? And I was more like, well, you got to understand. I said, he's actually my friend. Like we live in the same area. But
I don't know this guy. I don't know what the hell he's talking about.
But soon as I said that, then the guy was like, oh, okay. And I said, he's not being aggressive towards me. What he's saying is, you have the ability, open up. That's the only thing he's saying. I said, and every time we go to the range, on a range setup like this, he says the same thing every time. So maybe I'm not doing something right, but I said, in my mind, I'm probably playing it too safe. I really don't know, but he sees something that I'm not putting it into the equation. And I said, I appreciate that because now I'm focusing on that and I'm trying to get the speed up a little bit more with the gun in my hand, And then the guy was like, oh yeah, okay, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. But yeah, I actually remember that when that was, I don't know if you remember this one, Dave, but you started off in the left corner and it was like you almost did a zigzag pattern.
From Nationals?
Was it Nationals?
No, it was Florida section.
Yeah, it was Florida section. Yeah, that was a Florida section. And it was one of the stages. I know you started off on the left-hand side, and when you ran it, it was almost like a zigzag pattern if you went from target to target, like your shooting aspect. And
you had to go down to the very far right at this point.
Right.
And then there was this hallway that ran from that point all the way to the left. And you had to go all the way to the left because it's Manny's stage and you had to shoot the stuff there. But you could either shoot the stuff on the move or you could shoot a couple targets, reload, and haul ass to the left and shoot everything. And, my point to Michael was, man, you could get there so fast and just get alphas when you get there.
I think that's the stage that me and you shot the same, but I can't remember, but I know what I did was as soon as I hit that corner, I took off, right? And then remember Coach B, she went to the left first and ended on the right, and I said I went to the right and finished on the left.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see a reason to double tap it like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna find the video and I'm gonna show it to you, Dave. Because
okay, cool.
Yeah, I don't remember which one it is, which stage it was.
Yeah, I remember exactly which one it was because I was like, okay, I'm gonna do what he said. Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, I shot the whole match with the dot taped up on the front.
Now, how
enjoyed watching you do that.
Yeah. So now, how do you feel about that in competition? Because a lot of times when I tell people to do that, right, they look at me like I'm crazy.
Yeah,
right?
I do.
Yeah. So now I can actually tell you this, and of course, this isn't classified or documented because I'm not saying the mission, the grids, or anything like that. But there was a firefight that I was in, and I had that same thing on my optic. Whereas I had tape covering it and all I saw was the red dot. But shooting with both eyes open, it was like you see the targets falling as I was hitting the people. So I would prefer to do that. And even like now, I would still do that till this day. I don't have to see like a clear image going through the optic, So what is your take on that? Considering in one time you said it in the video that you felt like you shot better with tape on it versus no tape on it.
You can take a whole eye away.
Mm-hmm.
So you're really focusing with one eye, but proper focus with one eye is better than poor focus with both eyes.
Right.
I proved it.
Mm-hmm. Now,
that's it. That's all I got. I mean, that's all I can say. I mean, if you can target focus, then you don't need to do it.
Right.
But if you struggle, then you need to do it. That's it.
Yeah, it's a great. I think it's a great training tool. If you are struggling with that, with target focusing, it's a great training tool.
Yeah. Now, what about you, Jay? Have you done any type of shooting or practice covering your optic?
Yeah, so I did. Sorry, I'm driving now, but this is the bonus of doing phone this over the phone. I did it for a little bit. I didn't shoot a match with it. I did some dry fire with it, and what it confirmed to me was that yes, I am target focusing.
Okay.
And because I haven't shot iron sights very much at all, so primarily it's been dots for me, and so that's been what I do. Where I did find a benefit to it was when shooting in like direct sunlight. And I don't know, Rob, if you used it at in Florida, if you needed to. I didn't need to at that, just kind of how the targets were, but I know some people did, where if you tape over the lens, I'm talking about specifically with the Trijicon, the SRO, you don't get a second dot.
Yeah.
Because there's no reflection, or I don't know how it works, but you take away the second dot, so it makes the sight picture simple as it should. So I think that's a benefit there. Whenever I did it in dry fire and I did some live fire with it, the only thing that happened was when you go and lean outside of a barricade or a wall, you lose. You can't see the target because I don't know if I'm gonna be able to explain it right, but if you can't see with both your eyes, then you can't see the dot on the target. So if one of your eyes is behind the wall,
you're giving up a little. Yeah, you're giving up a little time because you got to wait till your left eye breaks the plane of the wall. Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. So
wow.
That's the only thing. And I remember messing with that, and I was like, why can't I see the dot on the target whenever? And it's because the wall is in the way of my eye imposing that image over. So that's the thing that just some stuff like that, where if you're not wide open, that's why I didn't go and take it to a match, because I can't guarantee that I won't be shooting around a wall at a match.
Right.
But I mean,
about it.
But I again, like what your experience was it was confirmation to you that yes, this is what I need to be doing, and it's not harmful to an extreme degree at a match either, because we're superimposing that dot anyway. Right. So I think it was really cool to mess with, and just kind of learn some stuff with it for sure.
Okay. All right. Now, have you ever done that before, Dave? And like with your open gun?
I tried it a little bit in dry fire, and I found it really interesting. It was really odd to me that I could pull the gun up and only be looking at the target with one eye, but still having like a clear image of the dot there. It was weird. It was really weird when I first tried it, but it was interesting. But I don't know. My brain was making it happen somehow between the different images my eyes were seeing. It was really weird.
Yeah. But
I could see it being a good training tool. I've never really had a problem like target focusing. I tried it for a couple weeks and then I left it at that. But I could really see the benefit because it does force at least your one eye to focus on the target, because there's nothing else to focus on when your dot's covered up like that. So I could see how it would be a great training tool.
Now, the first time I had that experience with covering the optic up, I don't remember where I was at in the military, but I do remember. No, I was at E5. I was at E5 at that time, and I remember the E6 or E7, whoever was standing behind me, they explained that to me. So I closed the cap down on it was a red dot, aim point red dot, and I turned around and I did it, and I was hitting all the way out to the 300-meter on the qualification range. And yeah, like I said, after that experience, I rather shoot like that versus just having the clear image with one eye.
But it just sounds like a really terrible idea when I first heard about it. It's like you're trying to hit a target at 300 yards. Put the cover over the front of your sight. That'll help.
Yeah, it sounds
How in
weird,
the world
but
is that going to help you?
it works, man. Like I said, it really works, and it's like I said, our brain is so complex that something like that you would be like, I don't know, but yeah, but
Let's
when you
cover
actually
up the front of our sight.
yeah, and do it and trust in yourself, you'll be amazed, man. Like I said, the human body itself is very remarkable, and if you can actually open up those pathways and don't second guess yourself and judge yourself, you'll be amazed at what you can really do. And I don't even think we really tap into 5% of our ability, right?
I agree. The best reason to not tape over your red dot is so you don't have to explain it to everyone. To this day, there are still people leaving comments on those videos. Wow, nice point shooting, or how you have a strong index. And I'm just like, I'm just tired of trying to explain to people what it's really all about. And that's the struggle. Like 90% of the people don't even understand what you're trying to do, much less what you're doing. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's really weird. It's great. It's weird. It's great.
It is really weird, but it works.
Yeah, I think when I'm
It works.
when I actually dive into the carry optic aspect, I think that might work best for me in carry optics, but I'll try it when I get there and see whichever one I feel more comfortable with. Because I never done it with a handgun. I never covered like because I never shot but 1, 2, maybe 3 optics on a handgun, but I never covered it up to actually say, okay, that works for me. But like I said, I never really done it on a optic handgun. So,
but at least you'll understand what you're trying to do.
Correct. 'Cause there's not much difference.
Sorry, Jay.
Between, yeah.
Good.
No, you're good. I'm just excited for Mike for you to get into carry optics when you do, and then we got to get David back into it because I know you started there, but we got to get your Canik up and running.
It's still running.
Okay, well, right, yeah.
It's about worn out now. I might need to get a new one, but
you get a new one, and then well, everybody's in carry optics. Just as many people in carry optics as we can. That's the goal.
That's right. That's right.
I still have my rig.
Yeah,
belt.
Like I said, next year I'm gonna attempt to dive into it next year. So
yes,
I hope your experience is like mine. I spent 2 years in limited. I loved it. I loved the 2011s. I loved going through the whole process. I dabbled with open a little bit, but I am where I'm supposed to be right now in carry optics. I love it, and I love shooting a dot. And I hope you have the same experience. Just deal with the struggle. Just deal with it. The reward at the end is worth it.
I got you on that.
I agree. I when I first started, I thought I was going to throw that dot away. this is awful. I am so much faster with iron sights. Why did I even put this red dot on my gun?
Yeah, so like I said, I'm excited about doing it. Like I said, and as I talk to people, I just try to pluck their brains and get more information. I think the hardest thing for me right now is making the determination of which firearm that I want, because I know I'm going to put an optic on the Q5, but I want to get another firearm and let one of them be the backup, So I'm still trying to make that determination of how I'm going to work it.
Well, you be like Rob and just buy all of them.
No, well, like I said, I don't know how Rob does it. Like making the decision before going to the range. Like, okay, I think I carry this one or this one. But then again, you look in Rob's cart. He got like 6 firearms right there. Hey, you need one? I got one you can use. You know. Yeah, so.
It's been weird. It's been fun.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm actually looking forward to it and diving into it because my whole aspect is just going into it, giving limited a break, and then come back to it. But my theory behind it is going into carry optics and then possibly going back to limited. I think it might make you a better shooter, you know, overall. But
Mike, I was going to go back to limited as well. I'm just saying.
Right. And what stopped you though?
The fun factor.
I
Accidentally having too much fun.
I got a call from the Smithsonian the other day, and they wanted all my iron sight guns. So.
That's it right there.
So I was like, yeah, you can have them.
I get it. All right. So, if anything, I want to continue this conversation sometime either after Area 6 or after the North Carolina section, if we're not in season break. But if we did go into a season break by then, I want to come have this conversation after the season break and then revisit how was it for you? Is it what you expected? And just break down the match overall between, you know, the 4 of us.
Oh, that'd be cool. I'd like to do that.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I think
that'd be a game.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun. So, if you will, everyone, please go ahead and stay in your seats. And before we take off, make sure you head on over to YouTube and look up Rob Teague's Pop's Quest on YouTube and check out his videos. And then if you're on Instagram and YouTube, just type in J Beal and check out his videos. And I think you're going to be amazed by both of these parties and what they bring to the table. You know, so outside of that, please stay in your seats, and here are a few words from our sponsors.
Are you in the market to purchase your first or next firearm, but find the atmosphere of a gun store intimidating, crowded, or uninviting? There's a way for you to purchase the gun you want while avoiding the crowds, the gruff salesmen, and the marked up prices that come with a brick and mortar gun store. The process is called a transfer, where the purchase is made in an online store and sent to a federally licensed middleman called an FFL, who processes the paperwork and background check for a firearm purchase. CAE Transfers is the FFL with the lowest transfer cost in the Midlands at only $20 or $15 with the presentation of a South Carolina concealed weapons permit and $10 for repeat customers. If you live in Columbia, South Carolina or its surrounding areas, choose CAE Transfers as your FFL during checkout and let me help you complete your online gun purchase. You can find and follow CAE Transfers online at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram using @CAE Transfers. Thank you for your business, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Hey, this is Brian Conley at Hunters HD Gold. If you've never tried Hunters HD Gold, then I challenge you to find me at a match next year. Go to the website under scheduled events, find out where I'm going to be. Come meet me in person and demo a pair for yourself. Find out why shooters across the United States are changing to Hunters HD Gold to get 43% more light to their eyes, better contrast, eyes that are not fatigued at the end of the day based on the colors that we use, and find out the real meaning of why they change so you don't have to. So check us out on our website, huntershdgold.com, and I look forward to seeing you at the range soon.
Mental health and guns. At Walk the Talk America, we are working with both the mental health community and the gun industry. Created by a gun industry veteran, Walk the Talk America seeks to raise awareness and create change through suicide prevention and firearm safety without legislation. We strive to eliminate the prejudice that firearms and mental health face. For more information and to support Walk the Talk America, please visit walkthetalkamerica.org.
The gun cleaners.
Our solvent is, I think, second to none. Our lube is second to none. Our lube's heavier than water, which is just a huge thing. People don't really put a lot of thought into that, just how huge that is to have on your gun, especially with concealed carry.
The gun cleaners.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
You know, you're going to sweat a lot of the other lubes off. With ours, it'll stay there.
The gun cleaners.
and maintaining the quality of the process, the quality of the end result is another, and you guys are able to do both with the process that you have there.
Order your supply of the lube and the solvent at www.theguncleaners.com.
Thank you for taking the time to hang out with us on the M-W Tactical Podcast. Remember, a new podcast comes out every Tuesday. If you can't wait for Tuesday, go listen to past episodes to catch up on what you missed. Make sure you visit www.m-wtactical.com and see what all is offered on the site, where you can even purchase M-W Tactical apparel. But please, go to our Facebook and Instagram page and follow us on our journey in the sport of competition shooting and the realm of the 2A community. Until next week, keep shooting, keep practicing, and have fun.